Good afternoon. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the lobby into the session and the stream all set up and ready to go. We are taking a trip down memory lane this afternoon, and we are going to be seeing some classic cars out on some great circuits, so do not go anywhere. Well, good afternoon everybody. It's nice to be here on a Saturday afternoon, and well, we've got two great races coming up. We've got the first one at Monaco, a circuit that doesn't really need an introduction, one of the longest standing street circuits in Formula 1 history, only missing two rounds, which I believe was sometime in the 50s. We're here on F1 2020 for some classic racing, and we're starting off with the 1990s McLaren, driven of course by Ayrton Senna himself, with that classic white and red Marlboro livery. And well, we've got two 25% races. Each of them are going to have one-shot qualifying sessions, and the mechanics obviously T-posing again. It seems to be a running theme through Codemasters games recently. It's a bug that's proceeded in F1 22, and it's a bug that's proceeding now. We've only got a small grid, but it's going to be some... Well, I'm assured it's going to be some close racing, and I don't doubt it at all. And here at Monaco, with these cars, anything could happen. We're just waiting for all of the players to get themselves in. I'm actually going to quickly join a party, just in case that bug persists, where it kicks you out of the game. So sorry to blue screen everybody for just a party by myself. There we go. Well, we are still waiting, of course. So, 8 drivers on the grid. It's been a long time since I've been here for GRL. I did a couple of their Tier 2 races, but was sadly unable to make the majority of them. But I'm back. Hello. Welcome. It's your first time watching. Please do make sure you like and subscribe to the stream as well. It really does help me out, all of the support given to us as well. There we go, look at that. Monaco and Japan. Looking forward to this one. Should be some good stuff. Still loading and loading and loading. Hopefully there's no errors. No Codemasters games are like for errors at the moment. But let's talk about Monaco then. It's well, 19 lap track, of course. It's infamous. The walls are tight. There's some insanely great corners. Infamous, of course, the Saint Devant. Then we've got Beau Rivage, Massenet, Casino, Mirabeau, Portier, Nouvelle Chicane, of course. The swimming pool section with there's just so many, and Rascasse as well. So many great corners around this circuit. But here we go then for some qualifying. Let's get everything up for you. What the hell is this? Anyway, right, let's see. We'll follow along with George Matt then for the lap as he heads up towards Massenet through Beau Rivage and then onto turn 3 now. Oh, it's a very wide line. That's not going to help him out too much there. But he's still P1 at the moment. Very slow through Casino there as he comes down over the kink as well and then in towards Mirabeau and down here through the hairpin at the moment, still leading, but Tom Go Prof goes a little bit faster through here, and George is dropping way back on his current lap at the moment. It's great to see these cars back out again. It's mad to think how exposed the cars are, but here we go through the tunnel then as we head down towards the Nouvelle Chicane, very fast area of the circuit, and then you're forced to brake as hard as you possibly can, trying not to lock up those wheels and trying to get the best run through there. That looks pretty clean from George Matt in his McLaren so far, but coming into now one of the fastest corners on the circuit, giving the wall a little kiss for a measure as well, and then through the 2 sets of chicane so fast. ASR Matt's retired from this one qualifying session, so he'll be starting at the back of the grid, but only 3 more corners to navigate now as George makes his way around, and it looks like Tom Goes Prof is going to be the driver who takes pole position here, so we're following along as he crosses the line in the 1990s McLaren, a 22.5 set by Tom. He's 2 tenths ahead of GRL well anyway. Well, you know, names and mere names are going to fall out one day, but Tom Goes Prof, great qualifying from him. A very close grid for those of them who did manage to set some competitive lap times around here, so good job everybody. We've got a 25% race now to get going, and it's going to be good. Let's run you through the grid for tonight's session. We've got Tom Go Prof on your pole position for this race, and then we've got GRL Wellene just alongside him on the front row. Go Slow and George Matt are on row number 2, with GRL Mac and May occupying row number 3, with Strickland and ASR, I'm going to say Matt, rounding off your grid. So there's not too many drivers out there this evening, but we're going to have some fun racing out there anyway. And if anyone is in the live chat or on the stream right now, of course make sure to watch or engage in the live chat. Say hello. We don't bite over here unless you want me to. But anyway, I used that joke last night, so I need to get some new ones clearly. But we're waiting now to go racing, and well, I'm excited for this one. The cars are much smaller, so we should get a lot more overtaking action, a lot more side-by-side stuff perhaps around Monaco. But it is, of course, still Monaco, one of the most brutal tracks as far as street circuits go. You either love it or you hate it, I think. I've grown to love it in my time. I used to hate this circuit, absolutely hated driving it, and then when I started getting a bit better at the game and a bit more prolific with, well, the track and all parts of the game in general, I sort of I should say proficient, that was the word I was looking for. I sort of grew to enjoy it. I wouldn't say I love it still, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. It's formation lap on, it is, so we're going to go round a lap for formation. I would normally talk about the tyres at this point, of course, but well, they're all in the same, so it doesn't really matter. 20 laps here. I doubt we're going to see any stops in this race. So we'll keep an eye on, I guess, some changes. Perhaps it's weird. I never commentated when I was on F1 2020. This was I mostly raced on this game, so all the menus look a bit odd to me. I think I started my commentary career in F1 21, so menus look a little bit different. But it's nice to see these McLarens out on circuit, isn't it? Look at them. These awesome old cars. Aren't they funny? It's an iconic livery, you know. A lot of people knock Red Bull for using the same livery over and over again, but you've got to remember there's a lot of cars that do that. You know, I mean, Ferrari's livery, I mean, where it does change from time to time, is more or less the same red car, but it's their branding, you know. This McLaren is among that as well. It's Marlboro, it's the white and red classic livery. You know, you don't mistake that car, do you, when you see it out on the track. But it's great to see it once again, and they do sound phenomenal, don't they? Let's listen. Listen to that. When I think of Formula 1, I do think of that sound. But anyway, we're going to line up on the grid then. Tom Go Prof is going to lead the way. He's going to get himself on the grid box. And of course, there's no parking, no manual parking in this game. It's a feature that came into last year's game. And, well, they're pretty good, but all the drivers are lining up now. We're going to go round the track for 20 laps here at Monaco. We're waiting for the lights to go out. Are we going to get some good camera angles? Please, Codemasters, give us a better angle for the start of the race. There we go. Right, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Monaco Grand Prix here at GRL, and we're underway, and it looks like a good start from Tom, but it's a better start from George Matt, who I think may have left the session. I don't know, he looks ghosted to me at the moment. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, as I think there's some major confusion, but ASR Matt up 6 places off the start already. I'm not sure what is going on. There's a bunch of cars that are ghosted here at the moment as well, but Tongo Profit defends his lead of this race for the time being. Matt, I think he's not really changed any places, actually. May up a couple places as well. Lots of carnage going along at the moment, and let's see what else is going on up and down the grid as well. No really any battles, but Wellene is being chased. There's errors with the timing table. I think it's all fixed now. Classic bugs all being fixed, but everything being sorted out, and George Mattel is struggling a little bit with the grip of his McLaren at the moment, and he's going to have to try and iron that out if he wants to get some moves done. Speaking of making moves, that's on Matt. He was very close, but he's dropped way back from Slow, who's just ahead of him now, and it seems that the battle at the front is heating up a little bit. Tongo Prof and Wellenway, they are the ones to watch at the moment. Getting very close is Tongo Prof at the moment. He's trying to find a way through, trying to look to the inside, to the outside, trying to find places, but it's very narrow around here, even though the cars are much smaller than they are in real Formula. Well, I say this is technically real Formula 1, but in modern day Formula 1, let's say. But Tongo Prof is, well, trying to fight back here as the timing tower's finally fixed itself, I think. But here we go up side by side now as they go up towards turn number 3, and then Tongo Prof getting ahead before turn number 3, and that was a decent little move. It was brave, it was bold, and it got him into the lead of this race at the moment. And then we've got Slow and Matt, they're trying to get themselves involved in this fight as well, so they're closing in and battling. Remember, there's no DRS, we're back to basics here in these 90s McLarens, so it's going to be skill that determines everything between the drivers at the moment. And Tom is getting himself away. He's going to try and break that gap now and maybe try and control some of this race. Meanwhile, Go Slow is definitely not living up to his name. He's got some speed. Oh, and he's out of this race. He's crashed. That's going to bring out your safety car there, and he's lost it coming out of the tunnel. Very easy to do in these cars. So I managed to go around the circuit for a few laps myself in these cars, and they are very difficult to drive with no traction control and no other assists as well. Very easy to lose the car and put too much power onto it, but Go Slow, well, that's not the start to this season he would have wanted at the moment. He'll have to try and put that behind him for the second race at the moment. But we've got a virtual safety car, it seems, so we're going around the circuit. We're just waiting for the track to go green once again. There we go, we're green again, and it's Tom leading the way once more, and his gaps have opened up a little bit now, but Wellenway is trying to close in. He's got to really put in the laps and really just get his head down to try and make the most of his position at the moment. But he's got to think about behind him as well. ASR Matt is looking quite quick behind him here in P3, and he's going to catch up soon, it would seem. But the gap's sort of widening and opening up at the moment as well. Are we going to see any more action as we go further on? We're only on lap 3 thus far, and remember, as I said before, no DRS. These are classic Formula 1 cars, so we are going around as the bare minimum, bare bones racing. This is going down to skill. That one ball shot with a wheel. Look how much the wheels developed over time as well. You've got all the buttons, and countless buttons as some of these straight lines, those chicane there, locking up their brakes as they go through. Little kiss at the wall. Little kiss of the wall. I always forget it's Tabac. That's the one. That's Tabac. Easy to do there. These cars are very understeery, and well, Stricken has discovered that as well. He's out of this race now, and the full course safety car is out now. So we're going to slow things down in this race, and we're going to bunch the grid up. It's a spin from ASR Matt as well, not what he wanted at all. He was trying to get himself in this race. And he's got wing damage. Look, he's missing the left half of his wing, so he's going to have to come in and change that under this safety car. I know he's going to drop way down, isn't he, from this one. Here comes May speeding around the circuit. Gosh, I do just love the sound of these cars. They do sound phenomenal. But we've lost 2 of the 8 drivers thus far. And, well, we're under the safety car now. And it's weird to see the safety car be grey again. I forget how much Formula 1 has changed over. I mean, it's not changed all that much, I suppose. But it's changed a little bit over the last 2 years. Or 3 years now, I suppose. Now we're in the 2023 season. I guess there was no Aston Martin back in 2020, was there? It was still Racing Point. Aston Martin was a thing in 21, right? 2021? I feel like I'm wrong. Konnichiwa T2 Stricken in the chat. Hello. Now, what happened? What happened? How did you lose it? Was it just grip, just getting the power down? Was the car just not sticking to the road? Tell us. Let us know. I promise I won't mock you. I promise. These cars are very difficult to drive, so I can sympathise at the moment. But I do miss the classic cars, actually. Giving a tribute to Daniel in McLaren. To whomever Daniel is, Stricken has attributed this DNF to you, I suppose. But yeah, we're just waiting for, I think, May and ASR Matt, who's coming to the pits to repair his damage. Ah, Danny Rick, of course. If you'd have said Danny Rick, I'd have, I probably should have clocked on, actually. Daniel Ricciardo's my favourite driver, and he has been for a long time, so, I'm clearly a fake fan, if anything. I've got my Daniel Ricciardo hat just hanging over there, Good old honey badger. Praying that he comes back in some capacity. I hope they don't just shove him in an AlphaTauri and let him languish at the back of the grid. If they get rid of Checo because he's getting a bit too big for his boots, just bring Danny back. Or if Max decides to walk, pop Danny in the car. Why not? It's a great driver. The safety car's coming in this lap then. So if you're ASR Matt, well, I'm sorry, but you're not really rejoining this race, are you? May not get into this, but Tom Go Prof is going to become your effective safety car. He's going to control the pace. He's got until the safety car peels into the pit lane, which is now to the line to get the session restarted. And May, well, just joining on the back of the train coming through Rascasse now. The final couple of corners here at the circuit, and there he goes. He's punched it going into the last couple of corners, and we're back under green flag conditions once he crosses the line. And there we go, back under green flag racing, and there's already some carnage. That's George Matt and ASR Matt having a bit of trouble. Is it? No, it was May and George Matt having a bit of trouble back there. But we got Tom Go Prof, he's chased by Wellenway, and GRL Mac making their way up towards turn 3 now, and then down in towards Casino at the moment. No moves being made for the time being, but they're staying close, they're staying in touch with one another, so moves may be made as of yet. But we're making our way now down towards the hairpin, and then to Portier, and after that, and still no moves at the moment. Tom Go Prof controlling this pace at the moment, just keeping that second gap, but Wellenway is, well, gets a little bit of a better exit coming through the tunnel now, so closes that gap just a little bit to get himself a bit closer. Someone's got to try and apply some pressure here, make a send or something to really spark up some action during this race at the moment. But coming through the Novell chicane now, and it's Tom, and then Wellenway, then Mac going down through to back now, and keeping that car out of the wall, very hard to do. I was struggling driving these cars, but I've not driven them for a good couple of years now, when I was making the thumbnail for it today. But Tom Go Prof making his way through Rascas. No real action. George Matt way back down there. He had a big incident. Did he get some damage? He did. So he's coming in for a pit stop. So ASR Matt, well, he may have somebody to race soon. But Tom Go Prof, fastest lap of the race, 23.6 for Tom at the front of this train of cars at the moment, as they make their way up through to turn number 3 once again. Some time penalties now as well. Let's have a look. 8 seconds for Mac, 5 seconds for Wellenway, so maybe some speeding under the safety car for those two. So if they do manage to get ahead of Tom, it's not going to do them any good, because they've got penalties, which is a shame. That was a hefty hit with the wall there, and I think he might have lost some front wing. Not too sure, can't really tell what damage is, but Wellenway's definitely got a bit of pace here. Or is Tom Go slowing up? I'm not sure, but Wellenway is catching up to the back of Tom at the moment, and this gap is closing up. A little bit of racing maybe around the corner, we'll see, but they're still keeping in touch with each other, still staying close. It's one by one they go through these chicanes. They feel great to drive when you hook it all up. This whole lap feels great to drive when you hook it up. It's a phenomenal circuit when you get it right. But here we go then. Mac closing in, going to be applying some pressure now on GRL Wellenway, and actually sets the fastest lap. So he is now the fastest man on the circuit, and he's looking at, he gets a great exit out of Saint Devot, and he's going to look to go side by side up the hill. At the moment, he's got no way through, though, as GRL just about closes him off, keeps the door firmly closed on his, well, GRL compatriot, I suppose. So perhaps some of the admin or moderator team for the server at the minute. And a little dive maybe from GRL Wellenway. No, not quite. He's not quite close enough at the moment, but these guys all staying in touch with each other, and well, if they keep fighting, may get involved in all of this action as well. And a better exit from GRL Mac now. It's going to come down to whoever get the best handle on these cars. I think they're such wild beasts to tame, and they may be stripped back of all of the technology of modern day Formula 1 cars, but it all comes down to driver skill. And well, look at that, easy to lock up for Mac going into the Novell chicane. And here we go side by side as they come towards the back. Wellenway was having a little look to the inside of Tom Go Prof. No way through for him at this occasion, just about fending him off for now, but he's definitely got some pace behind him. And Thomas, well, he seemed to have some pace toward the beginning, but is lacking a little bit now as he's getting into these laps. What's happened there? Are these two just getting a bit more comfortable with the car underneath them? Who knows? But May is catching up now as well. He's been allowed to get up, and here comes Mac as well. He's going to look to the inside of Saint Devot, locks up the front right tyre. That was close. Lucky there was no contact there, and they chase up towards turn number 3 once again, and they're making their way through, and still Mac is trying to find a way through. He's looking to the inside, looking to the outside, trying to find the space, but the door is being firmly shut on him as well, avoiding that bump. Wise decision, as it can unsettle the cars, even these ones as well. It's just an awful bit of road, but you can't really change it, to be honest. But Mac really mounting the curb there through the hairpin, And down towards Portier now. Oh, a little bit kick of oversteer there. Oh, and nearly into the wall. Maybe some oversteer for Wellenway as well on this camera. But we've had a bit of an overtake here as Max found a way past at the moment. The camera's doing some weird stuff. They're showing me the wrong drivers, but Max finds a way past his GRL compatriot and is into P2 now, and he may start to challenge Tom in a few moments' time. But remember, there's time penalties, folks, so even if they do finish ahead, if Tom manages to finish within those penalties, he'll still finish in the lead, so not too much pressure really for Tom to be overtaken. May's caught up into the back of this well. Look, he's 1.2. That gap was 2 seconds or so, just a few laps ago. And now as we go into lap 10, it's 1.1 seconds as we go along. Well, Wellenway, I think he's struggling a little bit now, but he's catching on. But here comes Mack. He's got some pace now behind him. He's gotten used to that. McLaren underneath him, and he's going to go up the inside of turn number 3. Side by side they go. Now we go down toward Casino as well, and Mack just about finds the space and the grip to get past. Now it's going to be about opening up that gap and making sure that he doesn't lose any places from the penalty that he has over him. We'll check the penalties again in a minute. George Matt, he's out of the race as well. He's crashed at the second part of the swimming pool chicane, so that is a shame for him. We've lost 3 drivers now. Never good to lose any drivers in any form of racing. We want to see them all cross the line, but sadly that can't happen every single time we go racing. And Tom Prof, well, he's going to look to go racing, but he won't be thinking too much about it. Oh, and he brakes very, very low, goes straight into the back of Mack as well. Lucky not to get any serious damage on that car, but that will slow him down for sure. And maybe he does have a little bit of damage, perhaps. We'll wait and see. We'll try and see what the car is behaving like as they're making their way around the track. I mean, the slightest loss of downforce around here will be a killer, if it is possible. But a penalty for Mack now, for Tom even. Let's see. Let's have a look at penalties. I did say I would show them. Fastest lap, that's the wrong stat that I'm looking at. 11 seconds now for Mack, 3 for Tom, 8 seconds of Wellenway. So, wow, Tom's really got a lot of penalties. Only some track limits infringements, perhaps, for him. May's dropped off a little bit. He did catch up a bit, and now he's dropped off once again at the moment, making their way through the next couple of corners. Oh, that's a nice helmet. I do like that one. I used to run that helmet back in my racing days on F1 2020. Shame they never brought it back, but talking about lids aside, GRL Mack finds himself in the lead of this race, but he's got 11 seconds of penalties to contend with, and unless he can outrun time, I don't think he's going to really benefit from having all that time penalties over him. So Tom is in the perfect place to hold this race, unless he has an incident, of course. And oh, that looked like a big loss of grip there. He almost went into the wall going down. Hello Fando, nice of you to jump in. Classic Cars, why can't EA Sports just bring you back and dump that stupid F1 lot? You know what? We've been saying that for ages, mate. Honestly. Nobody cares about the supercars. Just give us some classic Formula 1 cars. Give me back my 2006 Renault, damn it. I love that car. Absolutely adore it. I may also love Fernando Alonso, but those things definitely aren't linked. But yes, no, classic cars, bring them back. There's so many good ones. The Benetton was great. These McLarens were great. The 90s Ferrari was awesome. All those 2010 cars. What ones did they have in here? They've got the silver and red McLaren. The 2010 Red Bull. That started Red Bull's, many constructors' wins of those 4 years. 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. I don't know if they win the constructors ever. I don't know the drivers. Seb Vettel. May he retire in peace. He had a great run. Yeah, 2009, 2010. Yeah, he had the 2009 Brawn as well. Well, GRL Mack has left the session. Oh no, I think he's lagged out of the session, so he's going to drop even further back than he would have liked. And that penalty, well, it's not going to matter now because Tom's just going to catch him, go straight through him as he's ghosted, and take the lead of this race back. And he's not really going to look back upon that, I think. Although, I don't know, I mean, the AI seems to have a bit of speed about him, so maybe GRL Matt can get himself back into the session, but we'll wait and see. But what I was going to do, while we had a little bit of a breather, was go over the calendar review. I may not be here for every race, as Tom does finally get past the coasted car of GRL Mac, who has lagged out, so not the biggest overtake to worry about missing. But let's take a look at the calendar. So Monaco here, of course, we've got the 1990s McLaren, the MP4-58, and then in Japan we've got the 88 McLaren, so another one of Ayrton Senna's McLarens. That is the next race coming up after this one. Then we go to Bahrain as Mac finally gets his way back into the lobby, and he might be able to challenge GRL Wellenway. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. But round 2, which will be same time next week, we go to Bahrain and Monza, and we'll have the 2010 Ferrari and the 2004 Ferrari, which out of all the classic cars that were on F1 2020, that one was second favourite maybe. It's tied between that and the 2006 Renault really for me. Then we've got Vietnam, which I forgot was a track. And Sochi, which we're going to be using F1 2020 cars. So I guess they're classic cars now. Big regulation change. The cars have changed, of course, so we'll have a bit of fun in them. I'd have actually liked to see the Benetton, in all honesty. But I suppose not everybody's got the Schumacher edition. Then there's Belgium and Hungary, which will have the 2009 Brawn at Belgium and the 2006 Renault at Hungary. Beautiful car. And then we'll go to Brazil and Abu Dhabi for the final round for the 2008 McLaren, Lewis Hamilton's first title-winning car, and then the 2010 Red Bull. So some great cars, some great choices of car out there for the classics. But yes, we continue on, and we've got a bit of a fight here. May, he's closing in. I mean, it's not really a fight, is it? It's 11 seconds of penalties versus no penalties at all, so the podium will go May's way if he manages to finish the race. So that's all he's got to do. We shall, Fando. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Not too many laps now. It's lap 14 at the moment, and we are ticking them down at the moment. We just go along. Tom is dominating the race at the moment. It goes even quicker at 22.758 as they all get a feel for these cars. At the moment, they'll have to get a feel for an entirely different car next, because the next car they've got is the 1988 McLaren. One thing I like looking at with these cars especially is how much the body has changed, I think, over time. How much they've developed. You know, because you look back at the Formula 1 cars and you've got those bigger, sort of stockier, more pill-like cars, haven't you? With the big kind of like, I don't want to call them like bicycle wheels, but they're kind of that way. Or like, you know, when you change, you know, like a spare tyre, when it doesn't look like the rest of them. It's that thin, flimsy looking thing, isn't it? You get that. We've got a yellow flag. Tom's out of the session. Oh, what has happened there? He's crashed at the Nouveau chicane. He's gone in a straight line. He's out of the race. He's completely lost it, completely overcooked it, and well, that's something he didn't need to do. And well, May's definitely getting that podium now, and ASR Matt, well, he'll be taking 4th place. We've lost half the grid. These cars biting back, Monaco biting back as well. We've just lost GRL Wellingway, sorry. He's taken the lead actually, but we've just lost Tom, and well, no, he was going so well and looking so quick, but well, one lapse of concentration, one moment of complacency, and that can see you out as GRL Matt gets another 3-second time penalty to add to his collection. So he's got 14 seconds now of track penalties. But yes, I was talking about old Formula 1 cars, you know, back in the 50s is when, you know, the best safety precautions you had were some hay bales, and, where Spa looked completely different. You know what, that's one track I'd love to drive now. I'd love to try drive that at least in some racing game. That's what F1 should do, man. Like, this is F1's official game. as Tom says, I am stupid, or I'm stupid in the chat. And, well, we all have those Charles Leclerc moments, don't we? And that was one of them, Tom. And, I mean, maybe we'll be glad that I missed it, because it might have saved you from some further embarrassment down the line. But you've got another race to come back, and it's only the first round. So I wouldn't sweat it too much. But, and as I keep saying at the moment, these cars are difficult to drive. And actually, if you are one of the drivers in the chat at the moment, then tell me how you're finding them to drive. Talk to me. How do they feel? What is it like? Have you guys turned off any assists to help you with driving these cars? Or are you going in bare bones and carrying on with, you know, traction control off and this, that and the other? Clip the barrier exit in the... Ah, so easy to do. So easy to do. The walls are so tight around there, so I can understand. I can understand the frustration. Right, well, hopefully Suzuka will treat everybody a little bit better. But I only use ABS and Racing Line, okay. So yeah, with traction control, I think off. Yeah, these cars are nasty. I found that when you were getting into 5th gear, you were trying to put the power down, but the car was just not having it. It was not taking a bit. I knew that was a big lockup from Mackin. The easiest thing to do around there, clip that inside barrier with your rear left tyre, and that sent Max spinning around at the moment. Any chance of rekindling that chance for a win has gone, but he'll be happy with P. Oh, I don't know. It's looking like it might be P3. That's like 14 seconds. That's quite big of a gap, and yeah, he's really got to open it up, hasn't he? And that mistake was not helping him at all. I'll be hoping that May makes a mistake, and we'll watch along with May, actually, I suppose. This is the fight between May and Mac here, this 14-second deficit at the moment. And well, Mac's caught up a little bit. He's found a bit of pace back there. Actually, I think he might be out of the session. He might have retired, maybe. His car looks ghosted to him. Maybe not. No, that's a ghosted car, alright. So, I think he might be out of the session. But, well, so I was talking about old F1 cars. Yeah, 50s cars with that pill shape, and then they start looking a bit more built up, don't they? A bit more technical. Once you get into like the 70s or the late 60s, don't they? You know, when was it the... When was a rear wing introduced? Let's see. You know, let's get Formula 1 car evolution. Here we go. Let's get it up. I'll have a look. I do like classic cars. They are very cool. Let's see. I can't show you what I'm looking at, but I can describe it. So it's basically a bunch of Ferraris dating from 1950 to 2008. So you've got about a decade of these sort of pill-shaped cars, but they do eventually kind of get a bit bulkier over time. And they really stay that sort of general shape until about 1963. Or was that 61? That's 61. So they get a bit flatter in 61. Because the pill gets a bit more of a box on it. And that's 17 seconds, although the gap may be extending. It certainly isn't. We're ticking down the laps, actually. I'll continue my topic of conversation at the moment about old F1 cars in a few moments' time. Because I feel like I'm whittering on about a tangent and not focusing on these beautiful cars on the track. But Welling Way, he's got one more lap to go. Keep it out of the wall. Don't bin it. Don't drop it anywhere. May, oh May, what have you done? You've spun. You've lost your chance for P2 there. It's slipped away at the drop of a hat. And unless he gets any more penalties, Mac is going to get away with P2 and. He'll be thanking his lucky stars for that one, because he's got so many seconds of time penalties now. And could a fighter up? No, not a chance. He's still so far back, and he's ghosted, isn't he? So out of the session. But we're on the final lap now, so we'll ride along with Wellenny Way. Is it Wellenny Way? think that's right. I've been saying Wellingway, I think, the whole time. I really do struggle with names sometimes. Some of them are just questionable at best, but Wellingway, I think it is. But making his way through, down the hairpin now, and then round this little complex towards Portier at the moment for the final time in this McLaren. And even though you've crashed out, drivers, have you enjoyed your stint in the 1990 McLaren? I hope you have, because we're going to the 1988 machine next, and well, I think that was the one I drove for the thumbnail, and it's a nasty one, I think. But making our way around to back for the final time and in towards swimming pool section. Don't hit the wall too hard. There's a little kiss, and oh, Max out now! Max out, he's crashed! That's at the Nouvelle Chicane as well, so ASR Matt's going to be promoted onto the podium out of nowhere. Mac is out of this session. Oh, I think it looks like he's done the same thing that you did, Tom. Oh, that was a big shunt of the wall from May there. Where is he out? Is the car gone? It's gone. That's a shame. Looked like he was crashed about there on the left. But, yes. Coming, well, he's already crossed the line, but well in a way, he wins the first race of 2 this evening for round 1 of this classic series. And May is going to come around Raskas in a few moments' time. That's the last part of the swimming pool, and then here we go, Raskas for the last time. That's turn 17, then 18, and then that little kink is 19, and he'll come around to complete his stint in this car. Only one of 3 drivers to finish, and well, not the most thrilling race in terms of action, but certainly one of attrition. And those who have finished have done a great job of taming these cars. There we go, the podium for the first round at the moment. Well, anyway, winning the opening stint at the moment. There we go. We'll run you through your grid and then we'll get ready for the next round. So only 3 drivers finishing then, but well, anyway, is going to be the driver on top, the driver from Canada on the top step of the podium, with May, the American, P2, with ASR Matt finishing P3, although I'm pretty sure they were at AI for the rest of that race. And well, Mac and Tom and George and Stricken and Slow found out how difficult these cars are to drive, and it did not finish the race, although it seems Mac and Matt, well, Mac at least was classified. Obviously they crashed out on the final couple of laps, so they're still going to score some points for that. So yes, well done everybody. We go to a bit more of an open circuit now, and I'm hoping there's a bit more action there as we go to Japan next. The Suzuka circuit, another circuit that really doesn't need an introduction, does it? It's become so synonymous with Formula 1, and it's been great to have it back on the calendar in real life. I missed it actually, you know. It was a circuit that just, I guess I overlooked it in my time, but I missed it. Yes, 6 drivers. We might get a few more. Oh, don't worry, Marcus. You're just in time for the second race, so don't go anywhere, mate. You missed Monaco, but we're going to Japan next. So stick around, and we'll go racing in a few moments' time. But while we're waiting for the lobby, I'll continue my tangent about old F1 cars. At the minute, yes, Japan is fun. It's a great track. Yeah, and what was your favourite track, Marcus? Pop it in the chat. I'll tell you mine. Mine is I love Spa, to be honest. Spa or Monza. It's got to be, yeah, Spa or Monza for me. Those are my favourite circuits. Although if we're talking street circuits, I do love Singapore. It's a great track. I used to love it on this version of the game, from 2020. I do miss my Renault. but we don't talk about that anymore. But I'll carry on with my point about the old F1 cars. Let's have a look. So yeah, you got a bit more a flatter sort of car, a bit more aerodynamically sound from 1961 onwards. And then, oh, look at those with the engines sort of starting to come out, and you didn't really get any sort of form of rearing until like late 60s, so sort of 66, 67, 68, 69 sort of era. Yeah. Silverstone, good choice, solid choice. Follow with Jeddah and Abu Dhabi. Okay, fair. I can understand Jeddah. Abu Dhabi. I mean, we're talking post-change Abu Dhabi, I'm assuming. You know, so Abu Dhabi from 2021 onwards, because Abu Dhabi from back in the day was just something. I don't know. I hated that chicane. I think it really disrupted the flow of the lap, in all honesty. Yeah, new layout. Yeah, old was kind of for sure, 100%. Other tracks that I love, Brazil's good. I kind of like Albert Park at the moment. I'd say I've branched out from Formula One fairly recently. You know, I've started working with JP Broadcasting, and I've been learning about GT3 cars and their cars. And I must say, there's a few cars at the tracks that I've seen that are great. Mount Panorama in Australia, phenomenal circuit. Alton Park, which I was commentating on a race on just this Thursday gone, so if you want to see that, head over there. We had a sprint race. We had 2 great races around Alton Park, which were a lot of fun. Donington's great, another British circuit, so is Alton. There's lots of great British circuits. There's lots of other great circuits as well. Let's go slow. So 7. I think we've got everybody. Is it 8 drivers? Can I count? No, I can't. 7 drivers. I'm not sure if we're getting any more. I'm yet to hear anything. But yeah, there's a lot of great circuits out there. Kyle Army, that's a good one, and I want that to come along for Formula One. But a man can dream. But yeah, you didn't really get a rear ring till the late 60s. And then they start to shift a bit, because I feel like they look a bit more like Le Mans cars during the 60s, and then they start to become a bit more familiar with their shape in terms of car, a bit more recognisable as a Formula One car. So they ended up, you know, having front wings toward, or it looked like the 70s onwards. So they got the 70s Ferraris, and the wings would sort of get a bit bigger, and then, oh, look at that, oh, hideous design. Not the 74, 75, that'd have been Niki Lauda era, I think, and James Hunt. If you've not seen Rush, phenomenal film about Formula One, about Niki Lauda and James Hunt and their friendship, I want to call it, not rivalry. It was more of a friendship. I mean, yes, it was a rivalry, but they were friends. And then you got 76, 77, 78, 79, and then, I don't know what they were thinking about in the 80s. That was a very boxy car, isn't it? In 1980, gosh. Then you go 81, 82, and then you go to about 87, where it starts to look a bit closer to modern day Formula One. And then 89. And then, 90s McLaren, the 90s Ferrari. Gosh, that is a beautiful machine. I love that livery, and I love the livery on them, on the Ferrari at the moment, which is a bit more reminiscent of that livery, which is a nice one. I was never a fan of the white, which comes a bit later, a decade later. You know, look a lot more synonymous with that, and then you go into the late 90s. You know, talking Michael Schumacher era now. Oh, Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen, what great battles those guys had. But yeah, then you could look at these more kind of boxy yet elegant cars, and then you go into the 2000s. You know, you got the 2003, 2004 Ferrari, beautiful car. I love the sound of that car. It sounds so mean, doesn't it, on track? And then all the way up to 2008, which looks a lot more like the modern day Formula 1 car. Although today's Formula 1 cars are a little bit more fluid, a little bit more curvy to them. But quite the evolution of Formula 1 cars. It looks like we're going to go racing in a moment, so you can stop listening to me babbling on about old F1 cars. Some great circuits, that, yeah. Oh yes, Kyalami, I believe. Yeah, I really want it to come. It's not a world championship if we're not going to every continent, is it? I don't want any more races in the States. No. I mean, look, if you ask me, get rid of Monaco, but they'll never do that. 2009 F1, yeah. Bring back Sepang. Oh, that doesn't look nice, does it? Look how overcast it is for Suzuka as we visit then a only figure of 8 circuit on the track. It's 5.807 kilometers. I was reading it the wrong way around. 18 corners. There's some tough ones in there. The S curves are nasty. The Degners as well. If you get them wrong, they can catch you out. Spoon curve on the second part of that corner. That's a tricky one. And then, of course, you got 130R, where, well, one moment of pure magic was when Fernando Alonso got himself past Michael Schumacher in what was one of the greatest Grand Prix around this circuit ever. 2007, was it? No, must have been 5. Yeah, 2005, where Fernando Alonso came and beat Michael Schumacher in that Renault in his early career, where Kimi Räikkönen was in his prime as well. Some 3 phenomenal drivers, Kimi, Alonso and Schumacher. They don't make them like they used to anymore, you know. I think, you know, Fernando Alonso is probably one of the last of the real kind of stone cold, wily racers out there on the grid. And I love watching him race. I think now that I've got 2 monitors on my PC, I need to have one with the full stream of the race and one just focusing on Fernando, because watching him go is amazing. I love it. I don't miss Vietnam, Marcus, to be honest, and I'm glad they never raced there. But speaking of driving and track action, we are going qualifying once again at the minute. Here we go. Then we'll follow along with our winner from the last race, which was Weleny Way. There we go. I can say it, and wow, look at that. That car is a little bit more sleek, isn't it? It's a little bit less bodywork on it, but Weleny Way doing a great job through turn 1 and then into the S's now. It's a tricky section, this. Avoid those curbs if you, well, excuse me, if you can. Keep off them because they will spin you out on this game. Through Dunlop now, tentative through that fast left-hander at the moment, and we'll get a bit more data up for you. There we go. We've lost 2 drivers already. Oh, that could be track limits through Degner 1, but it's tight to keep it through. And well, anyway, definitely got some great pace in that McLaren at the moment, coming through this hairpin now, looking to get the best exit possible, carry that speed. Look how small the car looks as well compared to the circuit. You know, modern Formula 1 cars are huge, aren't they, in comparison? Much longer, much wider, but well, anyway, making their way up towards Spoon Curve now as they go through, looking for a decent exit on the second part of the corner, down into 3rd gear, then start climbing up once again into 4th, then 5th, then 6th as we head down towards 130R. Is it flat in these cars? Let's find out as we go down, starting sector 3 off right with this corner. A little bit of a lift, just the tiniest lift for the briefest of seconds, and into bus stop, braking very, very sharp. And well, this is going to look like a great pole time from Weleny Way. Let's see what the time is as they cross the line. GRL Weleny Way setting the fastest lap of 42.74 tenths clear of May, who comes home in P2, then Tom in 3rd, and then George retiring from the session. So only 3 drivers finishing this qualifying, and well, it's Weleny Way who takes pole for the 2nd race of this Classic Series. Let's run through the grid then. Weleny Way in P number 1, lining up alongside is May. So your P1 and 2 from the first race, lining up on the front row once again. Then GRL Mac in P number 3 with Tom lining up on the 2nd row as well. George, Matt and Strickland make up your top 6 with Go Slow rounding off the grid. Hamilton and Alonso at the moment, yeah, that's fair. I've always liked, you know, I started watching Formula One in 2007, so that would have been Lewis Hamilton's rookie year. The guy comes in, nearly wins the championship. Yeah, what a thing. Yes, good luck, Tom. Don't bin it this time. Wishing you all the luck in the world. But yes, you know, I mean, look, I'm not one of the Hamilton fans that's going to defend him to the ends of the earth, but you know, I do hate the people that are just like, oh, look, he's dressed funny, he's dressed a bit weird. Be quiet. Let the man dress how he wants to dress. Honestly, like, these people don't have any. They clearly don't have anything better to talk about. You know, there's more troubling things going on in the world than how one man dresses, and well, he certainly doesn't care what you think, probably. Why would he? But yes, no, I've always been a Lewis Hamilton fan. He'll always have a soft place in my heart, and the man is a phenomenal racing driver in my eyes, and one of the greatest of all time. There's not one GOAT, there's many GOATs in Formula One. You know, there's too many to talk about, really. Senna, Schumacher, Hamilton, Alonso, Prost, Lauda, Vettel, so many. Raikkonen, Hakkinen, all great, aren't they? Graham Hill. But we're going for a formation lap now. Once again, let's get all your data and your telemetry up and running. We'll get position changes up as well. 7 cars line up for this race, round number 2. Shame to have lost one at the moment. But, you know, I think now that Danny Rick is not racing, my favourite current driver would be Carlos Sainz. Just love the man. Fernando Alonso, love him too. But I've always had a soft spot for Checo. I'm a neutral at heart, really. I may be a McLaren fan. I may be a fan of Carlos Sainz, if I had to pick a driver and pick a team. But I'm a neutral. I'm here for the racing. That's what I want to see. I'm always cheering on whoever's making moves and getting through. And, well, who's that? That better not be Tom. Oh, it looked like it might have been. Oh dear. Do not do that in the race. Keep that to the formation lap, Tom. And yeah, these are I think this is the car that I drove for the thumbnail, if I'm not mistaken. And this car is, yeah, getting on the power is not an easy feat in any stretch of the imagination. It does look like it was this one. Yes, it was this McLaren that I drove it round the wrong track, but it doesn't matter. It's a classic car on a classic track, and it's for a classic series. It works. It all works well. But well, with a circuit like Suzuka, we're going to have some much better, much closer racing, I hope, in a few moments' time. Right, and hello Ashley Armstrong as well. Hello. I didn't ignore you. I may have already said, but I was talking about Vietnam earlier as well. I don't miss it. They never got to drive around it. The track was meh. I feel like Saudi was kind of Saudi's kind of better than Vietnam ever could have been. We're lining up on the grid, and well, looks like, who's that? No, it's Stricken. He's so far back. Stricken Das. There, and here's the car. Miles back. Everyone's lining up on the grid, and he's just about to come out of the bus stop. But here we go then, lining up on the grid for race number 2. 7 cars, 7 drivers, 13 laps. Who's going to come out on top on this one? We'll wait and see just a few moments' time. Here comes Stricken lining up on the grid, coasting through the car in P number 7 and taking his spot in number 5. Here we go, then let's try and get a better view of the grid. It's 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix in this classic series, and we're off. once again for the second time this afternoon, and it looks like a great start. Well, anyway, covering off the lead as well. They're going to go free right toward the back here as well, and here comes Tom at the moment. He's looking for a way around the outside. Oh, contact! Oh, and that's going to collect another car, is it? No. Wow, what a great job from Slow to avoid all of that, as well as the rest of the drivers. And actually, well, what a catch! What a catch from, I think it was May who's gone down 5 places and made contact there. What a save from there, but a great start from everybody despite that little bit of contact. And well, anyway, well, proving that they are one of the fast guys out there, the guy to beat at the moment on the circuit, and opening up that gap to Tom at the moment, who's kept it on track for the time being. Apparently there's a predicted pit stop of a 1-stop. I don't think anyone will be taking that option, but Mac has got some speed now in his McLaren, and he's making to look some moves at the moment. Ooh, a very deep line from Slow at the moment. That's going to invite Mac for a move, and they're going to emerge side by side of the corner. A little touch on the grass as well. A little bit of contact between the two of them as well. They want them to do that too many more times so they could see themselves into the wall. For now, they're running down towards Spoon Curve now, and cutting the grass is Slow, and that's slowed him down, but he's going to look to challenge back around the outside, but he's really got nothing to it. He's all out of shape, and he's well off the road there as well. Gets himself a 3-second time penalty for good measure. And that's a huge incident there. Stricken Das going into the wall. That was a bit mischievous. That was not the cleanest of racing that I've seen at the moment, but we carry on with the racing, and it seems Slow is living up to his name at the moment, and he's creating a bit of a bottle here, I must say. You've got May and George Matt behind him. They'll be looking for a way past. May did show some good pace around Monaco, so could find a way through in the meantime. Oh no, well anyway, oh, what has happened? Oh, wait, what? No, the timing tower has glitched. That's what's happened. So thanks, timing tower. Well, anyway, still there in P1, I can assure you. The timing tower will eventually fix itself, I'm certain. Max got past Slow. No, he hasn't. So the timing tower is completely glitched. Ignore that. A classic F1 2020 glitch there at the moment. Nothing I can really do other than work with it. But there we go. It's fixed itself again, has it? No, not quite. But anyway, still your leader. There we go. They're back into the lead where they should be on the timing tower. And Stricken has, well, almost become a stricken car on the side. I need to stop all these puns because someone's going to kill me for making terrible jokes. But May close then to the back of Slow. Got George Matt for company behind as well, having to look in front and behind. And Slow, stay on the grey stuff, mate. Keep all 4 wheels on that. That's going to help you out, but he can't stay in between the lines. Oh, so close. Well done for May for not making contact there, as a dangerous rejoin of Slow YT has him out, and they're going to go side by side. Oh, they've come together a little bit there, a little bit of contact, and well, that wasn't the cleanest. Oh, here we go. Here comes Fernando Alonso. Oh, I nearly tried it. It was George Matt trying to replicate a fantastic bit of racing from that Grand Prix that I was talking about before. But and there's contact. Oh, that's a shame. May's round. George Matt through. Slow through as well. Oh dear. Some nice close racing, and it's all gone for nothing, and there's still some errors on this timing tower at the moment, I must say. But here's your closest battle then on the track thus far. It's Slow and George, but I think George might just open it up a little bit at the moment. Well, anyway, I must say, controlling this race really well. Got a great measure on the car, great measure on the track, and it's just going at it, just driving around and enjoying it out there. And look, setting purple sectors to boot as well, to really display some dominance out there on the beginning of lap 3 as it comes down to the hairpin there. Meanwhile, Slow is in the gravel trap and around, and just avoiding the wall. That was a nice little spin to avoid the wall. May want to get past with haste, as Slow was a bit of a liability out on the track there, it must be said. But yeah, gap's opening up now. Not the closest of racing going on, but I think this will be your closest battle here. Stricken Das left the session, has retired of course. No safety car out thus far. listen to the sound of these cars. These ones are a little bit more reserved, aren't they? They're not as growly. They're not as powerful. Not as hungry as their younger siblings from the 90s. Not really got that gruffness to them as Tom. Well, that was a bit of a squirrely moment out of the final corner onto that straight. That will slow him down, and Mac will close up there and hope to get that little bit closer to his rival ahead of him. At the moment, they're both coming through turn number 1 now. I think it's turn 1 and 2 technically, because the second chicane is our Mac. Oh, he's left the session. He's done it again. He's lagged out. He'll hope to join back. At the moment, and well, we're going around, gaps are opening up, well anyway, controlling this race. Tom and Mac still going. Mac is now out of the lobby at least, and will hope to get back in, but well, following that, there's not too much going on the circuit. I guess now May and George are going to be your closest battle. Can May close up that gap? Maybe, but Mac getting back in quite promptly, I must say, as well, so hoping to take control of their car once again and try and close up that 2.8 second gap, which is now about 3 seconds as they come through Spoon Curve. So looking to get back, put the foot down and close up again as well anyway, while controlling this race, and is doing a wonderful job at it. At the moment, let's see, let's look at stocks. We'll just get tyres up, I guess. There's a 3-second time penalty for George, and Go Slow has 6 seconds of time penalties as well. None of my gaps are showing up as well, which is great. We love errors on the timing tower. Makes things so much easier when you can't tell what's going on, doesn't it? At the moment. Let's see, GRL Mac trying to close up that gap. Got a long way to go about it at the moment, but everyone's kind of in their own race at the moment, aren't they? At the minute. But yeah, it's weird to look back as, oh, that was a bit of a spin, touch the curb, don't want to do that too many more times. Lucky to keep the wheels, well, lucky to keep the car going on all 4 wheels on it, and well, George Matt's done the same thing and had a little bit more of a closer brush against the wall as navigates the gravel track with ease and gets back out onto the road. But those curbs are deadly, especially in this year's game. Well, not this year's game, it's 2020, F1 2020 we're in right now. And yeah, ooh, very, very squirrely is that. Ooh, into the barrier, just managing to stay in the race, but losing it out of Degner 2, resets the track as well. Slow gets ahead now, so there's an overtake for you, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through there. But not too many battles up and down as well anyway. Well, going fastest, having a great time out there. Look at that gap now, 8.8. Just, well, sit down everybody. Max left again. Internet provider is failing him, of course. There's a fight going on, everyone. Look, we've got George and Slow. They're close together on circuit. Let's commentate on some wheel-to-wheel action, shall we? Hopefully George looking to get a greater exit, but Go Slow was carrying much more speed through the second part of the Spoon Curve. Let's see who carries more speed through 130 hours. We ride on board with George at the moment. George carrying much more speed. Look at the closing distance now as they head down towards bus stop. Breaks that a little bit later as well. Very deep from Slow. Going to look toward the outside. Then takes the apex. Setting up a move toward the outside maybe once again. But gets on the power earlier. Is able to really judge it. Going to draw side by side now. The two of them barreling down towards turn number 1. And it could be a pass here. No, thinks better of it at the moment. Sits behind Go Slow YT at the moment. And looks to try and get him somewhere else on the circuit. Closes in. May's actually now on the back of Mac, and this could be a fight, but it's not going to be now. Mac does take control, so it will be a fight eventually. And oh, George is in the wall. Oh dear, what's happened there? I cut onto some other action. That was maybe some contact, perhaps. Yeah, the way Slow's going. makes me think that that was some contact, because he looks like he's waiting for him to give the place back. But we'll ride on board with this then. Quite fortunately, we've got another battle just as Mac gets back in. We're about halfway through the race now. I still can't see any timing gaps. I don't know why. The fastest lap, wow, look at that, fastest lap by only about a tenth. So May's got some pace in his McLaren as well. So we carry on. Mac is looking to try and make a challenge, but he's dropped back a little bit now, and oh, looks like Go Slow is still going slowly and waiting for George to get back so he can let him back through. At the moment, there's the helicopter shot following along with Go Slow. I don't think is he still raining? I don't think he's backed off anymore. I think he's just gone. Yeah. Oh look, the data, the times, they're back. They've returned. The gap is 1.1 seconds between Mac and May at the moment, and not many penalties between a lot of them. We're lap 7 now, so just over the halfway point, or just on it, I suppose. Lap 6 or 7, or somewhere around halfway of lap 6 would be a halfway point, I guess. The 13 laps of a race is, 7 to 7 is 14. One lap over. But here we go. Look, Go Slow. Does he just let him through? Oh, what's that about? Oh dear. Into the pit comes George. Is he going to retire? Is he going to pit? Oh, they're both pitting, so they must have some damage on their cars. So they might be racing as they come out. Well, anyway, well on their way to a victory here, unless they drop it sometime later in the lap. But running well for the time being. Slows out of the pits, and George making his way out of the pits as well. I think Slow is waiting up. Mac has once again left the session. So yeah, we're left to ponder, aren't we, the gaps and the action on the track. Let's see what's going on over here. I wanna see what's happening between this lot. Honestly, I think they could have are they going to have a genuine battle? I think they are. Right, let's commentate on it then and see. So George is going to try and get a bit more feel of the car, try and close up, and slow, very slow through Degner 1. Must be said, Degner 2 closing up. Is George going to try and find a pass, perhaps into the hairpin as they make their way down towards it? No move there. Maybe out of Spoon and into 130R. That'll be a good place, but Go Slow has really lost the grip on the exit there. He looked very squirrely, and this could be a move. Here it is coming around the outside, and well, gives him a wide berth because he does not want to be collected in that carnage at all. They're still going side by side, the pair of them now. Go Slow and George have had some... They've been battling all race long. Down they go towards 130R at the minute. George Matt being overtaken once again by Slow. Gonna look to cut underneath Slow at the moment between the two of them. Down towards bus stop they go. A dive from George in towards the chicane and goes deep. Has to cut the corner. Gets himself a time penalty for good measure. And is he going to give the place back? He's got to. Surely that would have been an illegal overtake. Maybe not, but they're going to continue to hurtle on down towards turn number 1 as well. George going to cover the inside line. Slow's going to be forced to try and go around the outside, then try and look to the inside. No way through. Forced off wide though. It's George at the minute, and Slow gets himself ahead, but they're side by side again coming into the S's at the minute, and Slow is ghosted as he left the session. No, they're sort of both ghosted. There's some weird glitches going on at the moment, and some ghosting, and well, Stricken's AI is getting involved, or is that Well Anyway? Who is that? That is Well Anyway. Look, they're so that far ahead. They're lapping. They've been lapped. So maybe that was the reason. And George well off the circuit. Is he out? Oh, it's lucky to be in there, crashing at Dunlop at that speed. My, but the gap's opened up once again. Well Anyway has lapped the pair of them at the back as well. Wow. Gaps opening up. They're still relatively close together. George continuing on. Let's see this battle through, shall we? Side by side again as they go towards Spoon. Oh, there's contact. That was a bit unnecessary, and that's some major damage for George. He's still in the race somehow. That McLaren's made of thicker stuff, but not thick enough to stop the damage from the front, on the front wing. And going slowly again because I don't really think that was his fault. But it's not my place to comment. Not on any incidents like that, anyway. There we go, we've got a bit of a fight here. Tom goes prof and May, they've closed up on one another. The timing boards have finally allowed me to see such valuable knowledge. And we've got a battle on our hands now. May's going to try and close up on Tom at the moment and give us a bit of excitement in this session. Coming through the S's they go. Now the gap 7/10 of a second at the moment. We're going to have to try and close up. Is May into the pits of George and slow again at the moment. Hopefully this will be some good side-by-side action. This is a podium battle, folks, so eyes peeled on this fight as they head down toward the Degmas as well. Tom backing off a little bit, perhaps, at the minute as they go through, trying to get a grip on these cars for the time being, and, well, going along and through towards the hairpin now. Well, anyway, still miles ahead. Look, 20.3 seconds is the gap between Tom and Wellany at the moment. Great stuff between the two, but May is going to close in onto the grass. Goes Tom. That will slow down his progress, but side by side they go now through Spoon curve and around the long away for May at the moment, and the inside's covered off by Tom, who expertly defends that position at the moment and keeps May at bay for the time being. But they're going to rush down towards 130R now and into the slipstream. May will go and May catch up to the back of Tom as well. So this battle long from over. Some front wing damage on May's McLaren at the moment. He's missing his front left end plate on that car at the moment, which may be hampering him a little bit, but he doesn't seem to be showing it as far as the pace is concerned. He's definitely got some pace behind the wheel of that that 88 McLaren at the moment. They're rushing down towards turn one again. This is going to be some side-by-side stuff as well. Long way around once again for May. Tom defending the inside once again and pushes him as far wide as he can while staying fair and true to the racing standards that we like to see at the moment. And May trying to find a way through the S's at the moment, but can't really get around the fellow McLaren in front at the minute. I don't know why I say the fellow McLaren. They're all in McLarens. The exact same McLaren, actually. But it's one way to distinguish a car or some sort. Anyways, we carry on, as apparently my comments have just doubled from 22 to 44, which is definitely not correct. We continue on, and May closing in and not really showing any form of having damage. And here we go, side by side again. A slow run out of Degler 2 sees May take the position off of Tom at the moment, and side by side again they go through the exit of the hairpin, but no way through. Tom's gonna come back at this though, but he does have a time penalty, so fighting may not yield any real results as the time penalty will go. So May will be in second place for this at the moment, especially if he stays within. Let's see what the penalty is. We're in 3 seconds of Tom at the minute. See, a bit of a battle. These two still going at it at the moment. A great... Oh, that was a nice little send, actually, from Go Slow. Down the inside of Sector 2. Oh, no, that was George, was it? Was it George? It was George. It was a lovely little send. Just glad I caught that one. Down the inside of Degner 2. But these two still fighting tooth and nail for 5th and 6th in this race. I mean, who's got the more penalties, though? George does. So, not really going to see him too much at the minute, but Tom and May still going at it. Well, anyway, is about halfway through the lap, so should be on to the last lap very soon, or they'll be on to the last lap. It's hard to tell with the profiles and nobody telling me along, but either way, trying to get the pronouns correct. Always a tricky situation there, but some close action going on here down towards bus stop, and oh dear, George off the, is it George off the track? No, that's slow. That's slow off the track. Yes, it is. Got some damage on his McLaren now. As we go along, and they're both into the pits again. 5-second penalty for speeding for George. Oh dear. Bit of a shambles between these two at the back, if it must be said. Making their way through. GRL Mac back into the session. Been out for a while. Lagged out, of course. Going to come home in P4 for his troubles, though. But we're on the final lap, and well, anyway, well, it's just started it. So we'll follow along with well, anyway, as they make their way around the circuit for one final tour. And it's been a great little run of show, and these two are fighting still toward the back. Side by side action and going through at the moment. But well, anyway, well, they look like they're going to lap them again. As they're that far behind the leader, but that's Mac. Mac's had a spin. That's just out of 130R. That's a. You don't always see spins there, but it is possible, as Mac has proved. But when he's got the joy of watching these two scrap in front of her, or in front of them, at the moment, making their way through. Well, anyway, only got a few more corners to navigate. Coming through spoon curve now. Oh, it runs very wide, maybe distracted by the cars ahead. But like I said, these cars are difficult to drive at the best of times. This one especially, very understeery, I found. But one more trip through 130R for Wellany. At the moment, clips the curve expertly. That was beautiful, that corner. Through there, in towards Spoon. Not Spoon, bus stop for the final time, and around the final corner to come across the line and win the second race of round number one. That'll be GRL well anyway winning this race, and it's going to be May who's going to finish second if they can manage to navigate these final three corners without putting it in the wall. I don't think they're going to do anything quite that dramatic, and they're not. So coming around the final corner to cross the line, then Tom, well, you saw the end of the race, Tom. You kept the car in one piece, so that's one way to win. You get yourself a podium for your efforts as well. GRL Max been dipping in and out of this session, but once they cross the line, that will be the end of it, I think, as it's just Slow and George were lapped, so they're a lap down. They're still racing, actually, these two. And another little send from Slow down into Degnall 2. Saw it coming this time, though. Did George. Or was it George? No, George made the send. It was Slow who made it. This time it sounds weird, and that was a shambolic send. Going well off the circuit there. Crossing the line as well. Oh no, we've still got to watch these two as they go through. Okay, so they are they on the lead? They can't be on the lead lap. It's starting down to have a bit of a battle between the two of them as well. As they're going side by side. Maybe they're coming through spoon curve now. Once they cross the line, that'll be the end of the race, I think. But they're going to have a little fight down towards 130R. Oh, they know George well off the track, and oh, he's spun, he's lost it. He's into the wall. Oh dear. That McLaren really proving difficult to drive at the moment. And Slow's going to wait for him as well. So we're going to continue this. As we go along, here comes George just peeking over the horizon. Out of that mirage, if you want to call it that. A little look. Dives to the inside. Very late braking. That was relatively clean. Slow saw that coming though, and they're going to emerge and they're going to be pushed well out wide on the exit of the corner, and they're both going to spin now. Oh dear. There we go, crossing the line. Good job. But that's it. That's round number 1 over, and well, GRL Mac gets the driver of the day from the game. And well, I think it would go to where he way personally. Controlled the race and led from start to finish, and there they are, top step of the podium once again. 2 wins in a row for Melanie Way. Great job. Right, let's run you through the grid after that race then. Melanie Way wins for the 2nd time in 2 races, so round 1, a bit of a grand slam there. Just missing out on the pole at Monaco though, with May coming in P2 and rounding off your podium is GRL Mac. Tom Goes Prof finished this race this time, comes home in P4 with Go So 5, George 6th and Strickland not finishing this race. That's it. That's your first round. Next Saturday will be round number 2. I think I went through the calendar for that. It was Bahrain and Monza. So tune in for that. Whether it'll be me or somebody else, I don't know. We'll wait and see, as my Saturday schedules are a little bit shaky at best. But yeah. That's it. That's your race. We'll get back into the lobby and then we'll wrap things off. But some good racing for the racing that we did see. There's some great little side-by-side battles. Good car control displayed by everybody. But I'm going to wrap things off. I'm going to grab myself a cup of tea and have a bit of a relaxing Saturday evening now. But thank you all for tuning in, those that did. Thanks to everyone in the live chat as well for engaging. If this is your first time here, of course, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the stream as well. All the support does go a long way as I continue my commentary career here on YouTube as well. Go check out some of my stuff I do with APP and over on the JP broadcasting channel as well. Go check those guys out. We all work exceptionally hard, and JP is a well, he runs a phenomenal broadcasting company and is, as far as I'm aware, is working all the time. That man deserves a medal, if you ask me. But I'll wrap things up and I'll stop rambling. I have been Sumo, and this has been GRL Classic Series, and hopefully we will see you again this time next Saturday. Goodbye for now.